tells you why the Browns are focused on all the wrong things. The Herd starts now.
This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. It is a Wednesday. We are packed. News on Urban Meyer may break today. Jamie Maggio is filling in today on the show. Long Island girl, Eli Manning fan to a fault. Filling in for Joy Taylor today. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Colin. Now everyone's going to hate me. So I'm an Eli Manning fan.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with that. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's got 2 rings. It's all good. Let me start with this. As a guy, let me just speak as a guy. There are certain guys I avoid. Guys that care about the wrong stuff. Car guy. You ever go to Twitter and see on an avatar the picture that represents you, and a guy's got a car? Not your mom, not your dad, not a pet, not a sister, not a brother, not a cousin, not a group of friends, not a, hey, look at my car. I got a car. I can buy a car. Dude, you care about the wrong stuff. That's the picture you chose, a car. You ever meet a guy that's got 3 nice cars and lives in a crappy apartment? Hey, champ, why don't you reel back on the autos? You can only drive one at a time. Why don't you put some money in a mutual fund there, Tiger? Knock yourself out. It grows. You can buy a nice house, not live in a crappy neighborhood, but have cool cars. Your Aston Martin's double parked. Guy that worries about the wrong thing. Car guy. You watch Hard Knocks? Episode, what was it, 3? Have you noticed in the last 2 episodes, all they talk about, how excited they get about dysfunctional wide receivers? I mean, last night it's all about Dez Bryant rolls into the building. Oh, my God, Dez Bryant's in the building. Episode 2, it was Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon, the last time he was good, Eddie Lacy was Rookie of the Year. He's played 10 games in 4 years. In 3 years, he's played 5 games. Josh Gordon. Here's Hugh Jackson reacting to Josh Gordon just landing a plane in Cleveland. This is the head coach of a losing football team that's won a game in 2 years.
The bird has landed. The bird is here. Not in here, though. Not in here, but the bird's here.
You've been working out?
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd Haley from a winning culture, Steelers, on the Arizona staff that won a Super Bowl, head coach in Kansas City, got him to the playoffs. Todd Haley looks really good in this series. He's like, who cares? Is he working out? Hugh Jackson's like, oh, the eagle has landed. The last time Josh Gordon was good, Eddie Lacy was the Rookie of the Year. Peyton Manning was the best quarterback in the league. Tony Gonzalez, now at our network, made a Pro Bowl, and 7 of 11 offensive All-Pros have retired. That's Josh Gordon's last full season. By the way, Jarvis Landry got into a fight. I like him as a player, but he's all over the series. General Manager John Dorsey, yesterday, Episode 3, is talking to scouts about wide receivers. I mean, they're talking about Antonio Callaway, another kid. He's all over it. Good God, folks. This is why the Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns. You're the loser on Twitter that puts a car in your avatar. The guy with 3 fancy ones that lives in a crappy apartment. Avoid dumb guys. This is why they're the Browns. They're just fascinating, not only with receivers. I mean, the best receiving corps don't win Super Bowls, but dysfunctional wide receivers who have told you for years what they are. I mean, God, you think New England, you know what New England's been for the last 15 years? There are times they've had weak wide receivers, below average running backs, not great at linebacker. They're always good on the offensive line. New England's always good on the offensive line. That's why they're not on Hard Knocks. They don't talk a lot. Oh, my God, Josh Gordon's in town. Dez Bryant's in the building. Look at my car on Twitter. I own a really nice car. Oh, my God. And I'll tell you something. The guy that looks really good in this series is not the head coach. It's Todd Haley, the grown-up, who just came from, maybe you've heard of him, the winningest culture in the division, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, when he was a head coach, actually won games unlike Hugh, who was on that Arizona staff that played in the Super Bowl. This entire series, Todd Haley's come across, I admit, as really intense and grumpy, but Saban's intense and grumpy. And Belichick's intense and grumpy, and Popovich is intense and grumpy, and successful people are really intense, and they sometimes are a little grumpy because people don't live up to standards and care about the wrong things in life and in football. Let me shift gears to this. I want you to think for a second about a number. That number is 21. A 2 and then a 1. 21. Lamar Jackson is 21 years old. Sam Darnold is 21 years old. Josh Rosen, speaking of Arizona Cardinals, 21. For the record, none of them will turn 22 years old during the season. They're young 21-year-olds. 21-year-olds generally in society get entry-level jobs, sometimes unpaid internships. 21 years old, you're a senior in college. This Friday, you're going to Boogie's, $5 all you can drink beers. Ow! That's appropriate for a 21-year-old. In America, rental car companies would not allow Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson to rent a car. Car rental companies would say, we don't trust Sam Darnold to get into a car, sit in a nice seat, GPS, put on a seatbelt, and drive without swerving into people. In America, our government, when Sam Darnold first came into this league a couple months ago, Sam was 20. Our government would not allow Sam Darnold to walk into a convenience store and buy a beer. They wouldn't allow it. The government thinks, no, he's not responsible enough to have some hops and barley after dinner. 21 years old. They will now all take over billion-dollar franchises. Go back to 2009. Only 2 quarterbacks ever at that time had started at 21 years old and qualified as starters, Bernie Kosar and Drew Bledsoe. Folks, we don't let them buy beer right before 21. They can't rent a car at 21. We have age limitations and restrictions all over America. Go back to your 21st birthday. What were you doing at 21? I was a mess. And we're going to hand these guys, especially Darnold and Josh Allen, they're going to start week 1. There's a real chance they'll start week 1. So let's just do this. They're kids. They're kids. I'm going to tell you, and I think 2 of them have a chance to start week 1. Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, this year if he starts, it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be choppy. Because I watched every snap in college. He's going to throw for 17 touchdowns, and he's going to have 14 interceptions, and he's going to have 7 fumbles, and his passer rating is going to be 84.5. And by the way, Josh Allen in Buffalo's got a little better arm, and I think they have slightly better receivers. He'll complete 60% of his throws. He'll have 19 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. His passer rating could be even lower because he'll throw the deep ball a little more, 79.5%. They're 21 years old. By the way, that's not to say we can't criticize them. Lamar Jackson is not close right now to starting in the league. He needs at least a year to learn the offense. I said that going in. I called him a project, not a prospect going in. And I still think he is a project. I think Darnold's a prospect. I think Baker's a prospect. I think Rosen's a prospect. But just think about 2 in front of 1. They're going to be, this is a lot. The last time I had a 21-year-old on my staff here, he fetched me coffee, and we didn't pay him. I can't imagine giving him a $2.9 billion franchise in America's biggest city with the media, which is the most relentless, largest, smartest, most in-tune, sports-aware media in the country, chirping at him. Lamar, Josh, Darnold, they're 21 and won't turn 22 in the season. Coming up next, I have the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles on show. Is it Friday? We have Doug Peterson, Jamie on the show Friday. And I want to ask him this question because, man, is it me or are the Philadelphia Eagles becoming the Seahawks right after they won a Super Bowl? And by the way, the Seahawks dynasty has closed. They're now picked for third in their division. I'll have that story coming up. 66% of men lose their hair by the age of 35 years old. You start to notice it, probably too late. Jamie's just smirking at me, watching me read this, because she's saying, Colin, you're in trouble, man. You're in big trouble. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Real doctors, medical-grade solutions, that's what you get with forhims.com. There are no waiting rooms. There are no awkward in-person doctor visits. You save hours and times going to 4Hims. It's easy. You get on the phone, you call, the doctor picks it up. A few questions. There's a brief conversation, nothing awkward. And this is not snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. Right now, there's a $5 trial. That's it. Order now. $5. That's it. You're in. Would cost hundreds if you went to a doctor or you went to a pharmacy. All you've got to do, real simple, go to forhims.com/COL.